For you, plus.
I'd like to have a motion to call the meeting to order.
Motion.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gary. Hello.
Good evening, everybody. I was just, unfortunately, Regina husband had a touch of COVID or has COVID, and Regina's not feeling well, so she's gonna be joining us via Zoom. And, Ryan Osborne should be here in a few minutes, but I will get started with the mayor's report. Just wanna let everybody know that the, Suffolk County Water Authority kayak paddleboard racks and the catwalks completed. The only last piece of that project is they're gonna put some railings on the steps, which they haven't come back to do, but otherwise it's fully done and operational, and I look forward to people enjoying using it. I have a piping clover update. Basically, we had 10 pairs that were successful, having fledged 20 chicks total. Only one nest failed. There are no longer any pairs nesting nor brooding chicks. A significant amount of the fencing has been removed in the past few weeks, and they will continue to be removed. So hopefully, again, as we, heard out from our residents and we reached out to the people, they try to make as many adjustments as possible to accommodate people. And again, now they'll be removing it, so hopefully everybody will be really happy. We had our cocktails and conversation last month. It went really well. We had a great turnout, and as a result of that, I'm doing what's called Cookout and Conversation, which is going to be Saturday, August 23rd. We're going to be doing it here, probably about 5:30, 6 o'clock. We'll send out notices, and we please ask you to RSVP. We also had a movie night last Saturday night. It was well attended. All the parents and kids had fun. We had plenty of popcorn and candy, and the weather was beautiful. It was a starry night. We even had a fireworks show that was unexpected that people got to enjoy, and that went well too. The newly formed planning board will be having their first meeting on August 9th, which is this Saturday at 914 Dune Road, which is Village Hall. We had the first meeting of the Beach and Bay Committee, and Ryan, who's going to be here in a few minutes, was going to be updating us. So I'm just kind of waiting for him on that. So I'll just jump over, just letting everybody know that, we provided the auditors the 24 and 25 financial information they requested to get that audit out of the way, and hopefully we will have that done by September. Brian, you want to give your constable's report if you don't mind?
She's wanted me to look at the computer. If you want to ask somebody from the audience to see what they're seeing, are they seeing us or? Because it doesn't look like she's.
Gina, do you see us, Gina?
Well, now he can't because
Why is somebody else on
Standing
the
in
screen?
front.
Why is it?
The owl
This
is
sounds-
not tracking us and
Oh,
it's not.
Yeah, but I don't even think it's showing us at
It's
all.
only showing me right there.
Oh, there.
I don't,
Say something over there.
Maybe when you
Hello?
move the screen, something happened.
We're
No,
only seeing Robin.
there you go.
You just see Robin.
That's all we
You-
see.
because you're not, because this is not working. It's only, you're,
I don't know how to get.
It's,
no,
no, it's got, you're on this, he's right, you're not on this. I don't know, because now the meeting is starting with that one.
Release.
Whoever, that is not muted.
You want to mute everybody, please?
Do you wanna unplug this and plug it back in to see if it recognizes it? It may get hurt. Tell me.
I'm sorry, we're having technical difficulties.
Gives for
Okay, that's.
sitting there, we can plug it back in.
The default speaker audio meeting.
So the owl will now be used.
Now
Did I do
it's
it?
on.
Oh, yes, I see it. We're good now. It's
Okay.
fine. Now
Right,
we're.
but why do we keep getting? What's wrong with this?
Yeah, but everybody can at least see
And
us.
how, it's gonna, I don't know why there's.
Catherine, it's working now, right? Where you can see people talking, okay.
No, she
Yeah,
can't hear
I
it.
guess-
Yes, we can see everybody now.
Okay,
Are you?
Mute every.
Yeah, because why not?
thanks, Catherine.
Unmute Gina though.
For the constables report, just to touch on something we brought up before, everybody, please don't leave your keys in your car. Do not leave your keys in your car. It's happening again on the East End where, it just happened not too far from here. Recently, somebody left the keys in the car. They caught the person. It's a long story. It's still kind of going on, but multiple people had left their keys in the car, just so it's still an important thing. Another thing that's just for the entire community to know is Pikes Beach, the town of Southampton has decided to change the regulations for parking there and for using that facility to being 365 days a year. So what that means is usually off season, a lot of residents would have them park their contractors or they park extra cars. Just know that there's a very good chance you're gonna get a summons because they are sending the traffic control guy to that beach. And you will get tickets. So we'd like to prevent residents from that. And also, if you need to use the facility, they are gonna require a permit for the entire year. So there's no more off-season versus, during the season use. I think that's really it for now. If you wanna come across what they're gonna.
You could discuss that for a second, if you don't.
So, there've been a lot of, questions about the crosswalks and the signage for the crosswalks and, the village, consulted a professional engineer. And we are going to be getting signs. It's just a question of how many, if they're gonna be double sided, but they will be up, but there's a process to this. So just everyone needs to understand. I don't know if I'm explaining it.
Well, yeah, we had an engineer look at the crosswalks and there's a couple of issues with some of them, so we're trying to make sure that we can legally put up the signs and they'll be in compliance, so we're working on that with council and with somebody to kind of handle the signs.
Oh, and one more thing, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Right.
What would be really helpful is, we've made a lot of observations with these crosswalks over the years, and it's, a lot of people tend to not look like they're crossing. They'll meander, they'll linger near the crosswalk. I think it's really important that you stand physically in the crosswalk and make eye contact with the drivers. Because eventually you're gonna get that person that acknowledges, and then you'll see that the traffic will stop. You kind of have to commit. I'm not saying to step into traffic, but stand within the crosswalk. That's what we need to do anyway to issue a summons for someone not yielding, is you have to physically where it's safe, obviously, to do so inside that crosswalk. And make that eye contact, and usually that driver will engage and they'll stop. So.
And alternatively, don't hang out in the crosswalk having a conversation or walking your dog because people don't know what you're doing. So you have to be aware of where you're standing if you want to speak to people.
And at the end of the meeting, if there was questions.
Ryan, did you want to talk about the beach committee?
Yeah, sure, I'd be happy to.
Okay.
So we held our first beach committee meeting this past Saturday. The committee is chaired by trustee Mulhern and myself. And joining us are 9 members from the village who have graciously volunteered their time. In the first meeting, we discussed setting forth the purpose of the committee and also the plan that we intend on putting together. So we talked about producing potentially an LWRP to help us with potential grant funding down the road, and most importantly, developing a strategic plan for the management of our coastlines on both the ocean and the bayside. So I just want to keep it very brief today. I won't go into the details, but they will be available. And we will, of course, be presenting everything to the Board of Trustees for approval prior to moving forward on any of these initiatives. And finally, I wanted to say thank you to all of those who volunteered for the committee. Both their time and expertise are invaluable to the village here. We really appreciate it. And I am excited about the committee itself and the future work we're going to be doing.
And just to let people know, LWRP stands for Local Waterfront Revitalization Plan, which is an acronym that the state has. Just, I don't think most people here were familiar with the acronym.
Yes.
I had to learn it too.
Good call, that's the note.
Okay.
Do you want to see if Gina, do you want to add anything to it?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think we had a lot of, I think, as I repeated over the year, this is probably the most important issue to the village. It's the survival of the barrier beach on both bay and ocean. And the meeting was great. And Ryan was a great co-chair and everybody was enthusiastic. There's a lot of energy, a lot of good ideas, and I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be terrific.
Great,
Thank
thank you. Actually, I had the fortune yesterday meeting with one of the colonels from the Army Corps of Engineers and also another senior person who it's great contact, except he's got 45 years and he's retiring in 60 days. But the colonel will be here for a while, and he basically, met with all the East End supervisors and some of the mayors on the East End and discussed the FIM project and their, plans to basically kind of replenish the beach over the next 30 years. Again, our village is a little bit of an anomaly compared to the rest of the Barrier Island. We were, our problems result from the groins being built, not necessarily Mother Nature. And also our beaches are not owned by our residents, they're owned by the state. So it's different from our situation, whereas I think the village of Quogue and East of Quogue is trying to get 110 separate easements signed by different landowners just to try to move forward with the project. And other people have been signing agreements with the Army Corps going forward, but that's something that we don't have to do, but we are going to be, meeting with them and discussing, our future replenishments and how they're going to be handling that for the village. So again, this is just the first conversation, but it happened to happen yesterday. It's topical, and I just wanted to share that. All right, now we can go into the resolutions.
Did you want to talk about?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. I apologize. I jumped out of order because I was waiting for Ryan. I'm sorry. The other thing is, we think it's really important that people on the ocean do sand fencing, and Quogue makes it mandatory. And I think that's, I think a lot of people here have done it voluntarily, and it's been great, but not everybody is doing it, and I think it benefits the whole village, and it's a really very nominal cost per homeowner, and usually the fancy can last for about 3 to 4 years. So when you take that nominal cost and you divide it by 3 or 4 years, it's really a very small amount of money. So we're seriously considering making it also mandatory for people on the ocean in the dunes to be doing this. We would have to enact a law to do it. Again, this is something that people do in the fall, generally October, November. I strongly encourage people to do it voluntarily. But this is something we're looking at. So if anybody has any comments or feedback, they can send an email to me or Robin in the office, so they can call us and discuss it. Can't see why people would have an issue with it, but if they do have an issue or concern, and then again, myself or the committee that's formed will be more than happy to help people, know where to put the sand fencing or have somebody help them with the sand fencing so it's done correctly. So again, if you need help or assistance, we want to help you. We don't want to, make it hard, but we just want to make sure that everybody does it as in compliance.
Erwin, could I make a comment?
Of course.
So the sand fencing is particularly important this year because we just got repumped this winter. So when they repump, the particles of the sand don't stick together as well. That's why you have that quick migration from the groins to the westward direction. But that sand becomes airborne in the winter. So we want to capture as much of that sand as we possibly can, and sand fencing is the way to do that. We've also had a very good season if you just walk out for the beach grasses growing. I know it's a negative to have plover fencing because it inhibits your walk to the beach, but by walking around the grasses grow very well. So we've got a really nice double dune, a lot of grasses. If we get the sand fencing in, and I would like everybody, and we'll send out information on this, to use the Army Corps specification. It's a little different. It's a little bit more expensive, but it will hold up under the pressure of wave inundation. So anyways, it's a great idea. Everybody needs to do it. It's our wall against the sea and super important. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Catherine has a question. Do you want to wait on her question?
Well, I'd rather, is it
It's
specific?
related to the sand fencing.
Sure. See what? I don't know.
So, Catherine, go ahead.
She's signed.
Sorry, I just put it in the chat just because I didn't want to interrupt. I was just saying, I agree, it's a wonderful idea, and I think everyone will adjust to it once they realize and really understand the importance of it. I was just curious if an estimate could be provided per linear foot for people so they have an idea what they're talking about. I understand you don't have quotes right now, but I think
No,
it
we
would
don't- we
help
don't have-
everybody to have an idea.
Yeah, I mean, people have always done it privately with different contractors, so I guess we can give them a rough estimate. I'm sure my esteemed colleagues in the audience probably have
I think,
a good idea with Harvey and Chad here that probably has some ideas of what it costs, but we'd be happy to, provide somebody a basic idea, and of course, it could be a plus or minus depending upon who they're using and the materials, but sure.
Understood.
it's not a problem. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.
All right, so, Gary, you wanna?
Can I just quickly chime in there a little bit? So I
Sure.
did get 3 estimates for this last fall. And with the zigzagging, a 50-foot property is about $1,000. And that's using the proper Army Corps spec, which is a deeper wood pole that's a little bit wider, the right spacing on the snow fence with the right ties. And I got it bid by 3 different people with bulk buying, and it works out to about $1,000 after installation. But if you divide that by the 4 or 5 years, I think it's a really reasonable cost. That's what it basically takes to amateurize it and put another fence in.
and if anybody wants to look, Gina and I we live near each other, even though we're on the bay side, we actually put up the sand fencing and did it in zigzag, and we're around 850, 846 Dune Road, so you could, if anybody wants to look out there to see how it was done, we did it according to the specifications.
Okay. Okay,
Okay. Resolution approving each of the claim vouchers submitted for audit and approval by the Board of Trustees.
second. All those in favor?
Resolution waiving the reading and approving the minutes of July 7th, 2025, Board of Trustees meeting.
Hey everybody, it's me, Manu. I went to some kind of Oricon voluntary convention.
Grant funder. So we just need to, I'm not in support of just spending money without knowing what we're spending it on and not seeing the billing from VHB and not seeing the grant proposal for what project they're trying to do. Now, it's great if they're going to do a village survey. I mean, it would be just great to see that paperwork prior to a meeting where we're voting on the money to do it.
You did, you agreed to this ahead of time. We're just ratifying what you already agreed to in writing.
That was the original 5,000, which was asking
Wow, this
for
was-
the
well,
bid
this-
properties.
This was for the RFP that was due on 7/25, which was in between our 2 meetings. And you got an email from council and everybody on the board agreed that we should do it. And all we're doing is ratifying that
I
we
don't
agreed
recall
to it
that.
to make the payment.
Okay,
I'm
Okay,
sorry not to recall it, but you did agree to it, so. That's all I'm doing is just putting an amount not to exceed so we can pay them when we get the bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
So are we going to 12 now?
No, we have to, could I have a second on this motion?
I don't think it was read yet.
We didn't even
We didn't read the.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, so who was,
Who was it, me?
Up to you, Gary.
Okay, resolution ratifying, oh no, hold on a second. We're at number 11, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Resolution to ratify an additional payment to VHB in the amount not to exceed $5,000 to be prepared in the village response to the New York State South Shore electricity and grant due on 7/25/25.
Erwin, the question is, it says an additional payment. That's what's throwing me off. It says an additional payment.
so then maybe you should say payment, I
I
didn't,
think payment, I
maybe,
think that's why I question
maybe-
it, because it should just say
Okay.
payment.
Okay,
I don't know, again, not sure why, again, Jared, maybe,
It's okay.
he's not here tonight.
So the
so
resolution is to
Right.
ratify
A
a
payment.
payment to be, no, okay.
A
If
payment.
it's the first 5,000, I'm fine with that. Okay, I did agree to that. Another 5,000, I'm just not aware of, that, okay?
Gina, we never spent the first 5,000. This is what I also put in that email when I discussed this with you. We never spent the original $5,000. So I said to do this grant would not be costing the village any additional money than we already previously agreed to. It's just that we're agreeing to make this payment for this particular grant. We did not pay for the other grant proposal. I have
Okay.
shared it before. So it
Okay,
wasn't costing the village any additional money, and so that's where we're at. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Alright,
Gina? Thank you.
that's fine.
Okay,
well, resolution ratifying the employment of Jason Vaughn as a part-time constable who is EMT certified at a rate of $30 per hour.
second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
13, resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of West Hampton Dunes hereby reapproves the contract with Fundamental Business Services, FBS, originally approved on February 15, 2024, and authorizes the mayor to execute the agreement on behalf of the village.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
14,
14.
Yes.
resolution authorizing the mayor to obtain quotation for landscaping services for the Village Hall, 914 Dune Road, and given
Exigent.
okay. Circumstances to enter into agreement with the vendor whose quote is in the best interest of the village at an account not to be exceeded.
second,
2,000, not to exceed $2,000.
No, right, I'm sorry, not yet.
Okay, all those in favor?
second.
Aye.
Aye.
Then the last resolution for mayor to obtain quotes to install crosswalk signs at the 7 public access ways.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Listen, I'm more than happy to, explain any of the resolutions we passed. If anybody's got a specific question, or I can always explain them, ahead of time, whatever people are comfortable with. That's why I want to make sure that everything is done here and on the record and transparent. So if anybody has any questions about it, I'm more than happy to answer them. Now we can go into public comment. So I'm not sure if there's anybody here who has any comments, or if there's anybody online. Okay, just state your name and your address and.
Daily Hill, 860 Dune Road. Sorry, I missed your first comments about the walkway and the kayak ride, if you had those
Oh,
on the agenda. But anyway, thank you for putting the walkway in. I think those are, long overdue. It looks really nice. The kayak rack, I'd like to bring up again. We live right east of that, and it's a pretty massive structure right now. So it kind of interferes with the whole beauty of the bay. And I realize you and I talked a little bit, and I think you did it quickly and didn't have much time for planning of that due to the DEC permit you told me. So I guess what I'd like to propose is perhaps we can have people who actually use kayaks and paddle boards and use the beach there to maybe make comment as to what might be the best use of that, or the best repositioning perhaps of the kayak rack.
well, I think it's movable, so if it's affecting your situation or somebody else's situation, we didn't cement the data or anything yet, so we built it just to get them, up and done, and based upon the permit that the DEC gave us. So we can probably have some flexibility to move them, and we can discuss that
Yeah.
with yourself and the users,
Yeah, I just think it's a great idea, so thank you for doing that, but I just think we should have some input to what is the best use of that. So it does take up a large footprint of the beach, people use that.
But I thought all the boats strewn out was taking up more of the beach than.
No, they were pretty, after Brian moved them, they were pretty well now confined just to the water company property.
Okay.
And I do worry about high winds taking them off, if they're buried in beach grass, they're probably safer than, high up where it's hard to reach. So I guess I'm just asking for input from other people who actually use it, and come back and then figure out, before we do anything, to spend more money.
Well, I don't think we were spending more money, but that's okay.
Well, you have to big up bill, right, so it's definitely going to happen.
But be happy to take feedback from yourself and any of the users of the kayaks.
Okay, thank you for that, and thank you again for the,
And I did mention, the one thing that you did miss is I said that they did not put the rails on the steps yet. That was evidently, they were supposed to come back 2 weeks ago, they still haven't gotten back to that, so it's completed except for the rail, so putting a railing on the steps.
Erwin, the comments that I've heard on those racks is that the ones that are up on top are like high for anybody to lift something up on a regular basis and put it in. And I think the other problem, because it's so high, is that it's, above the Phragmite line. So if we could, I don't know whether Lee can adjust them so that they're below the Phragmite line, you won't have the visual negative impact of them.
Okay, any,
Terry Jacobs. Terry, go ahead. You have to unmute. Can you unmute yourself?
You can put a request to.
I'm asking him to unmute. Yeah. Can you unmute yourself, Perry? No.
You know this person? She looked familiar, yes, slightly.
When you go over the dots that are on the top right corner.
So funny, she's like.
Where she came up.
His actual body.
Yeah, I'm looking, on his body?
Yeah, that, click there, where that's at.
Ask to unmute,
No, it's the same thing.
yeah. All right, you can type it in if you want to type your question into the chat.
You wanna see if anyone here has questions?
you just,
Well,
we just did.
Yeah.
Just this.
I have Sarah, do you want to go here?
I have a question.
Okay.
Great.
Well, the mayor, have you noticed there, PowerPoint, was full of it. Like my recent, you reduced it by $140.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Gary. I have nothing to do with this.
Nobody's done it, exactly.
Okay, but if somebody gave us an amount that was wrong, I wouldn't know about it. So this is something you should discuss with Robin or Liz. Nobody intentionally would short you any particular amount, but again, I don't know anything about it. If you're giving bills, then they're paying it based upon the bills you're providing.
Liz had said there was a portion of it that wasn't, that it's like a supplemental plan.
Okay, so then you have to discuss it with Liz.
Okay, I thought Liz had talked to you about it, but.
Liz determines how the village spends the money. Liz is the deputy part-time treasurer. So she would display you what it was. So if you'd like, I'll speak to Liz.
Yeah, I'm not aware of the situation. I'm not sure why you're bringing this up at a board meeting. You're welcome to, but
Thank you.
it's, it should put effect. Okay.
Guys, I'm unmuted if
Oh, there
it's
you
my
go.
turn.
Okay, just hold on a second.
It's okay.
Are you,
Okay.
okay, all right, go ahead, Perry.
So I wanted to ask about the sign, the Gary Vigliani sign at the entrance to the village. And I've talked to a number of people and a couple of board members. I know there are a lot of people that are unhappy with that sign. I'm not sure what the procedure was to put it in place, if it was followed properly. If it was, I'm interested in knowing the procedures to get it removed. I have no problem with past mayors being honored. And, I was thinking that, I would circle back to the whole procedure, but I was thinking, the mayor should be recognized. Maybe we'd have a wall inside the office where you had a picture of Gary and his tenure, and maybe also would be a good place to note the names of the trustees because they put in a lot of time. And if you've ever been to I don't know, a golf club. They have the pictures of the past presidents and so forth. If we had that in the office on a wall, it would be sort of a history, you know, in 10 and 20 years, you look back, you see all the mayors, it would be a history of the village. So that's just an idea for an alternative, but I do think that sign is off-putting to a lot of people. And so again, I'm not sure if what the procedure was to put it there and what the procedure would be to get rid of it.
Can I comment?
Sure.
It was voted for, at a board meeting in June of 24 and passed unanimously by the board.
And a public meeting.
Okay, so the board could vote again to remove it, correct?
Correct.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of opposition to it in the village. A lot of people don't feel it reflects their current view.
May I make a comment as well? Please, I don't have a little hand raise button available. It's Catherine Wolfson at 24 Cove. I have to second what Perry is saying, and Harvey, I know it was approved at the meeting because I went back and read all the minutes, but I think part of the problem was, and please, if someone has different information, correct me, but it was installed without permission of this board. It just appeared one day. It also, as far as I'm concerned, we worked very hard to get those pillars in place when I was a trustee and to have them be elegant and reflect the village. And I have no problem with our previous mayor being honored in any way, shape, or form. But I do not think it is in keeping with the pillar that was there. I think it is very glaring that it is a bronze plaque attached to our natural gray stone. So I think it's very off-putting. I'm also not happy with the wording, which I don't think was fully approved by the previous board or was approved by anybody, because I don't think it reflects all the trustees that worked so hard. Gary worked very hard for a lot of years. No one takes that away from him. He is one of the reasons that we are here, but he was also one of a board of 5. He was not a solo gentleman that did this all by himself. And I think the wording that was chosen is making it look like it was a one-man show. I think there could be a lot of tribute done to Gary and the previous original trustees. I think that could be placed in Village Hall, as Perry has mentioned, or in the new constabulary building. But I feel like our pillars were defaced without any knowledge and without any checking in place. And it's very frustrating to me because, as I said, I worked very hard to get those pillars built. I was very proud of how they looked. I think they reflect our village in a very elegant way. And I feel like something was, it's almost like a vandalism thing, even though I know it's not, and I don't mean to sound so extreme, but so I could just go over and get a plaque made about something and stick it on the other pillar and everyone's just going to let it stay. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think it was handled right. And I'm very disappointed in how it was handled. Whoever put it up, I still to this day don't know who physically attached it. I do know that it was done without permission of this board. So that's my feelings on the matter.
Comment again? As you know, I'm the new village historian, and all of the roads in this village are named after founders of this village. Okay, the last road that is not named is Dune Road, and that was the last place, the place that it was the last road that is not named. I mean,
Yes, Harvey, I was part of putting those names up. I'm the one that orchestrated those white posts being put with the previous trustees back when I was a trustee. And we do have Asom Way on Dune Road. It's not representing Dune Road, but it is faced on Dune Road. I just feel like it could have been a similar thing could have been done, something in keeping with the look and the style of what was existing, not this bronze plaque being just glued on or however it was attached to a stone pillar without permission, without whether it was approved by the previous board. And the sign that was approved is not the conversation here. The conversation is that it was attached and permanently mounted onto a previous existing village stanchion that I just don't think it was appropriate that it was done without permission. Besides the fact that it was over a year later that it was put in, these things were discussed last June. Why did it take so long? And why was it done, quote, in the stealth and dark of night? I'm just very frustrated by the way it was handled. That's one of the biggest things. And I think that it could have been placed someplace else. And I think the wording could have been approved by the new board as well as the old board.
Well, it was approved by the old board because the model of it was presented at that meeting.
Which no one could see because of the little tiny pictures of the group thing. It was discussed I was on that meeting. It was discussed very quickly. It was held up. You couldn't read it, and then it was like gone, and it was shuffled, and it was a piece of cardboard that was presented. It did not appear to me to have that much wording on it. I could be incorrect, but at the time, it looked like maybe 2 sentences or so, not this paragraph. So that's part of the frustration.
But I ask, it's hard to tell from the Zoom who is adamantly defending this.
Oh, it's Harvey Gesson is in the, who was a
Okay.
trustee at the time, so Harvey's speaking.
Okay.
And as I said before, no one is criticizing Gary Biglianti's work and what he did for this village. And I would be very happy, as we said all along, to have things up that speak to the efforts and the work that he did. I just don't think this is the appropriate way to have done it. And I'm very upset with the way it was handled and the way it was installed.
Yes. And the wording, despite what the past Board of Trustees thinks, does not reflect the feelings of this village. It's really overstated. It's really overdone. And even if it was put up properly, then there's a procedure to take it away.
Agreed.
Are there any other comments from the audience?
Well, Sarah Cavalli, she wrote about, any municipality can apply for a New York State grant and or federal grant. Whether you have an LWRP or approved plan or not, it doesn't impact your ability to get other. I lost my place, I'm sorry. To get other New York State grants. In fact, this was the first ever year of the SSER grant administered by the South Shore Estuary Reserve. It's so important for all villages, municipalities to put in for this money for this opportunity that just popped up quickly because it will show New York State.
There's need for additional.
Where to go? I have.
There's a need for additional,
That's what.
there's additional money.
Yeah, additional money.
Yeah, this grant, they reached, I went on the grant, instructional video. The person who was running it for New York State actually personally reached out to me, suggested that we apply for it. It is a small grant in the scheme of other grants that are hundreds of millions of dollars, but I also think that, I know that there's about 30 eligible municipalities and tribal nations, and I think about 50% of them actually did apply for the grant. It's going to be oversubscribed, but that doesn't mean that everybody doesn't have a fair chance. And there was no requirement of having any other types of, LWRPs or pro housing or anything else from New York State that was a requirement for it. So, and a lot of the work that was required for this grant application happened to have been similar to the grant application we applied for on June 6th. So it was a good percentage of the application work we already had done. And it was, maybe about 10 hours to actually apply for that particular grant. And I think what Sarah's trying to say is, because what the guy from New York State said to me also is, if a grant like this gets oversubscribed, then the state's gonna say, hey, maybe we should be putting more money into the different estuary funding, and we can increase it for, next year. And that's what I think is a proof of concept. Are there any other comments or either questions, or does anybody have their hand up?
I don't know, I have Alan Green.
It's Jeff Farkas. I don't have my hand up. Can I speak?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. I just want to say I've been on the ZBA for 3 or 4 years now, and I think that Chad is going to be a great addition. He's knowledgeable and smart. He brings a lot to the table. He understands the building code, and he will be an asset not only to the board but to the community in general. And I commend you for putting him on the board.
Thank you.
Chad says thank you.
Thank you.
I have Alan Green, and he's referring back to Gary. It says, how petty can you be? If not for Gary, this village would not exist. And then I have Stanley Vickers, who said agreed. And then I have Catherine. Well, she said this stuff. Alan Green says, Catherine, it actually was one man show. I'm Kathleen, oh, it's Kathleen Malone, who's under Alan Green.
So is that it? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody, and I look forward to everybody coming on August 23rd for my cookout and conversation. Thank you.
All right.
You know, Erwin, one thing I don't